Hello. There we go. Okay. All right. Hello. Okay. Today we are reading the South Bay Economic Forecast and Industry Outlook for the years 2023 to 2024. For year 2023 to 2024, California State University, Dominguez Hills. Okay. Welcome. About California State University, Dominguez Hills. California State University, Dominguez Hills, CSUDH, was founded in 1960 and permanently relocated to Carson in 1965 in response to the Watts Rebellion and the need to increase access to higher education for Southern California residents. For over 50 years, CSUDH has served a diverse community of learners and educators collaborating to change lives and communities for the better. CSUDH is committed to connecting its students to a higher quality, transformative education while providing the LA region with the vital resource for the talent, knowledge, skills, and leadership needed to thrive today and tomorrow. Of the university's over 110,000 alumni, 60% live and work within 25 miles of campus. Pretty impressive. Just make sure I clock in on checks out for this. Okay. Now we can truly get this show on the road. So, about the South Bay Economic Institute. The South Bay Economics Institute at CSUDH aims to lead the South Bay region with innovative and forward-thinking economics education and research. The Economics Institute serves the College of Business Administration and Public Policy, faculty and students, as well as community stakeholders by developing CSUDH economics curriculum and teaching while incorporating proven high-impact practices. Engaging our diverse student body in economic analysis projects through mentoring programs, guest speakers, and community outreach opportunities. Facilitating faculty development through economics research resources, grant writing deliverables, and local business and government community engagement. Okay. So, headline statistics. We have real GDP first, National and South Bay. National GDP is plus 2.1% in 2022, and South Bay plus 1.4% in 2022 actual. And 2023, we have National at a plus 1.5% and South Bay at plus 1.4% pro. And 2024 forecast is for National to be up 0.8% and South Bay to be up 0.7%. Unemployment, National and LA County. 2022 actual, we have National at plus 3.6% and LA County with plus 4.9%. 2023 we have plus 3.8% and for National and LA County plus 5.0%. And 2024 forecast is looking at a National of plus 4.3% and an increase in LA County of plus 5.5%. Housing prices in LA County, 2022 actual looks like it's going to increase by 4.5%. 2023 increase by 0.62%, and 2024 forecast looks like it's going to be stable, so about the same. South Bay Coastal, for housing prices, we have an increase of 7.1% in 2022 actual and a decrease of 24.7% in 2023, and 2024 forecast indicates a decrease of 4.3% South Bay Coastal. South Bay Inland for housing prices as well, 2022 actual was an increase of 10%, 2023 is a decrease of 9.9%, and in 2024 forecast is looking at an increase of 1.9%. Inflation in LA County, looking at a increase of in 2022 actual of 6.9%, 2023 increase of 3.8%, and 2024 forecast is forecasting an increase of 2.6%. International trade, imports, ports of LA and Long Beach, 2022 actual is looking at a decrease of 5.4%. 2023 is looking at a decrease of 23.4%, and 2024 forecast is looking at a rebound, for a rebound to be anticipated. Transportation, INRIX or INRIX, traffic congestion, we're looking at a 2022 actual increase of 53%, 2023 increase or decrease is actually none available, and 2024 forecast is indicating further growth. Transportation for LA Public Transit is looking at a 2022 actual increase of 34.6%, 2023 increase of 4.7%, and 2024 forecast is to slowing growth. Tourism, passengers at LAX, 2022 actual we have an increase of 37.5%, 2023 we have an increase of 16.1%, and 2024 forecast is indicating further growth, especially international. And for these 2023s, Yeah, these are year to date, but 2023 is actually over. Overview: strengthening the South Bay's competitive edge. This past year, our lives and the regional economy have been, quote, getting back to normal after the pandemic. Major entertainment events have returned, from Taylor Swift at SoFi Stadium to Barbie at every multiplex, and retail and hospitality are above pre-pandemic levels. See Figure 4. Travel habits are returning more slowly, for better or worse. Passengers numbers at LAX, traffic congestion, and public transit use are all still yet to reach pre-pandemic numbers. We are hanging on to some pandemic-era habits. E-commerce has continued to increase its share of retail, though the pandemic bounce has dissipated. Working from home rates remain higher than before COVID. On the other hand, cannabis sales have softened since the pandemic. Hyperinflation appears to be behind us as U.S. Federal Reserve interest rate increases have had the desired effect. Inflationary pressures appear to have softened demand across numerous sectors of the South Bay and LA economies. The LA area CPI is now down to around a 3% increase year on year, which is within a more, quote, normal range, especially compared to the 8.5% highs of last year. The producer price index has also softened over the past year. This has reduced pressures on businesses and households, though many have already adjusted spending habits. U.S. consumer confidence remains high, though manufacturing conditions are more mixed. Despite recent economic challenges, the labor market has remained strong overall. Layoffs in some sectors, especially IT, have received media attention. However, unemployment rates have remained low overall, meaning that household spending has remained strong despite high inflation. As shown in Table 1, most forecasters anticipate unemployment to increase over the next 2 years, but not to unmanageable levels. The importance of consumer spending to the economy means that the South Bay region faces many of the same conditions as the state and national economy. Moreover, the South Bay's economic diversity, with industries across the industrial spectrum, mean that our regional forecast for 2023 and 2024 tracks closely to that of the national economy, which has remained remarkably resilient despite inflation and high interest rates. The U.S. continues to outpace other wealthy nations thanks to its dynamic and highly educated workforce, fiercely competitive corporate culture, and large and self-sufficient economy. Our region has many competitive strengths, including high-tech industries, a strong startup and investment culture, sectoral diversity, a highly educated workforce, major ports and infrastructure, and demographic diversity. All these factors, along with California's natural amenities, mean that the South Bay is likely to continue to attract investment from businesses and households alike. Our tech panel companies this year represent many of the South Bay's qualities. Varda Space Industries of El Segundo are innovating biotech through space manufacturing, while John Deere Intelligent Systems Group of Torrance are leading technological innovations in the agricultural sector. Azure Printed Homes of Culver City are disrupting home building to drastically reduce construction time and cost, while DSA Signage of Rancho Dominguez have incorporated robotics to keep manufacturing in the South Bay. Overview. Nonetheless, numerous challenges confront the region. Homelessness and poverty continue to strain families and communities across LA. High rents are a key contributing factor exacerbating homelessness. Our region needs to build more houses to keep prices down. The LA region was built on ever-sprawling housing tracts, but we've reached limits to such growth. Innovative companies like Azure Printed Homes are helping to address this with infill development, ADUs, and other ways to maximize the space we have. Cities also need more flexible and responsive zoning and development planning. People are leaving in part because of high housing prices and rents. This is the first time since records began that California has experienced population declines. While media reports of a cow exodus are overblown, California has always relied on migration from the rest of the U.S. and the world. COVID-19 border shutdowns reduced inflow from abroad, which contributed significantly to population decline. This will likely level off as international migration increases once again. LA has experienced a hot labor summer with strikes at a higher level than prior years. Some workers face no other options to achieve better working conditions or higher wages in the face of high inflation. Others, such as striking Hollywood writers, are concerned about the potential for jobs to be replaced by AI and robotics. The launch and popularity of the AI language model ChatGPT has been a hot topic of discussion. In academia, we have heard a range of responses, from concerns about students using ChatGPT to write their essays through professors requiring students use the tool to support their projects. In the wider workplace, many high-skilled professionals are now using ChatGPT to save them time on more mundane writing tasks. These tools would clearly change our workplaces, and while it is still far too early to tell to what extent efficiency and productivity improvements through technological changes have benefited our region for decades. It is important our businesses and education systems adapt. Table 1, South Bay Macroeconomic Forecast. Forecaster UCLA Anderson Forecast. Real GDP 2023 1.4%, 2024 1.2%, 2025 2.4%. Unemployment in 2023 4.4%, 2024 4.8%, and 25 4.6%. U.S. Congressional Budget Office from the years 23 to 25, real GDP 1.5%, 1.0%, and 2.2%. Unemployment from the same years 2023 and 2025, 3.7%, 4.5%, and 4.6%. U.S. Federal Reserve, real GDP 1.9%, 0.5%, and for 2025 it's blank. Unemployment for 2023 3.6%, 24 4.0%, and 25 blank. U.S. Fed, Philadelphia, real GDP 2023 1.3%, 2024 1.0%, 2025 2.4%, and unemployment 3.7% for 2023, 4.3% for 2024, and 4.4% for 2025. Wells Fargo, real GDP 2.1% for 2023, 0.4% for 2024, and percentage for 2025 is blank. Unemployment 3.6% for 2023, 4.4% for 2024, and blank for 2025. Deloitte 1.5% 2023, 1.4% 2024, 1.8% 2025. Unemployment 3.8% 2023, 4.0% 2024, and 3.8% 2025. OECD 1.6% 2023, 1.0% 2024, blank for 2025. Unemployment 3.7% for 2023, 4.4% for 2024, and blank for 2025. Fannie Mae 1.9% 2023, sub 0.2% or a decrease of 0.2% for 2024, and blank for 2025. Unemployment 2023 3.5%, 2024 4.3%, and 2025. Swiss Re 0.9% for 2023, 0.8% for 2024, and 2025 is blank. Unemployment for 23, 24, and 25 years under Swiss Re or blank as well. Bloomberg consensus 1.1% for 2023, 1.1% for 2024, blank for 2025, blank for unemployment years 23 to 25. National average 2023 1.5% for real GDP 1.5% for 2023, 0.8% for 2024, 2.2% for 2025. Unemployment 3.8% for 2023, 4.3% for 2024, and 4.4% for 2025. South Bay region forecast, real GDP for 2023 1.4%, 0.7% for 2024, 2.0% for 2025. Unemployment 4.8% for 2023, 5.5% for 2024, and 5.2% for 2025. Jobs and unemployment. Analyzing the broader labor market situation in California and the U.S., the labor force participation rate tends to be consistently slightly smaller for California than for the U.S. August 2023, 62.4% and 62.8% respectively. Conversely, the unemployment rate is consistently higher in California than for the U.S. August 2023, 4.6% and 3.8%. Figure 1. As shown in Figure 2, South Bay employment has a similar trend to California as a whole. However, LA and South Bay employment, which track almost identically, have both recovered more rapidly than California since the COVID-19 pandemic. For shares of workforce, for South Bay workforce, we have industry, agriculture, forestry, fishing, and hunting is 0.67%, construction is 9.7%, manufacturing 0.75%, wholesale trade 5.17%, retail trade 6.45%, transportation and warehousing 2.01%, information is 4.88%, finance and insurance 5.33%, real estate and rental and leasing 8.92%, professional, scientific, and technical services 7.03%, management of companies and enterprises 2.77%, admin and support and waste management 10.62%, educational services 4.96%, healthcare and social assistance 5.98%, arts, entertainment, and recreation 6.27%, accommodation and food services 5.79%, other services except public administration 10.11%, and public administration 2.6%. Real estate and leasing at 8.92%. That is of workforce. That is good amounts, more than I thought. Jobs and unemployment. CSUDH alumni employment. To say we are proud of our graduates is an understatement. Our students have unique grit and resilience, which helps explain why CSUDH consistently ranks among the best in the nation for social mobility. CSUDH alumni work in most economic sectors with the highest paying average incomes in utilities, government, and manufacturing for bachelor's degree holders, and information, manufacturing, manufacturing, and wholesale trade for graduate degree holders. Table 2 shows the value added of a graduate degree, while those with CSUDH bachelor's degrees are likely to earn $15,000 per year more than peers without degrees. Our students usually stay local, serving the communities they were raised in. Lightcast alumni outcomes data shows 1/3 of our alumni live in the city of LA, with 6% in Long Beach, 4% in Torrance, 2.5% in Carson, 1.4% in Hawthorne, 1.3% in Inglewood, 1.2% in Gardena, and 1.1% in Redondo Beach. Major employers of CSUDH alumni include LA Unified School District, the California State University System, Kaiser Permanente, University of California, Northrop Grumman, LA County Department of Children and Family Services, Amazon, Providence, Long Beach Unified School District, and Cedars-Sinai. Table 2, average incomes by sector for CSUDH graduates. Employment sector of utilities, $75,968. Government, $65,792. Manufacturing, $62,323. Management of companies and enterprises, $58,005. Finance and insurance, $56,569. Wholesale trade, $55,760. Educational services, $50,890. Scientific and technical, $50,073. Information, $48,457. Healthcare and social assistance, $44,601. Information, $124,260. Manufacturing, $91,950. Wholesale trade, $89,115. Utilities, it's now going into the graduate degree, so I should have specified that before going down the list of this next section of the table. Employment sector, and this is with a graduate degree. Information, $124,260. Manufacturing, $91,950. Wholesale trade, $89,115. Utilities, $88,530. Scientific and technical, $84,991. Government, $82,549. Real estate, rental and leasing, $81,160. Finance and insurance, finance and insurance, $79,980. Educational services, $75,320. Healthcare and social assistance, $72,506. Inflation. High inflation has been a drag on economic growth since mid-2021. Higher prices reduce consumer spending power and are particularly challenging for low-income households. LA metro area prices increased substantially between the end of COVID-19 restrictions in early 2021 and this summer, figure 3. Stoked by U.S. federal stimulus payments, the war in Ukraine, and COVID-related supply chain disruptions, figure 3 omits that inflation had not been above 8% in LA since 1982. Figure 4 suggests high inflation did not undermine post-pandemic recovery of retail and food services sales in the South Bay and LA. Yet, consumer spending growth has been dampened in late 2022 and early 2023. Supply chains. Inflation has declined to more manageable levels in part due to supply chain effects. The price of raw materials is key. Petroleum prices increased due to the war in Ukraine, while material inputs into high-tech products and construction materials could not meet demand, further inflating prices. However, as shown in figure 5, purchasing managers' perceptions of prices have been relatively stable since late 2022. Supply chain logistics challenges had also contributed to high inflation. Rapid growth in imports post-lockdown led to severe port congestion. The number of vessels waiting outside the port peaked in November 2021, with ships waiting for nearly 25 days to secure a berth. The peak containerized import volume for both ports occurred in the first half of 2022, after which it declined noticeably in the subsequent 12 months, figure 6. These challenges contribute to higher costs of doing business. Recent declining imports and exports at the San Pedro Bay ports are concerns for our region. Federal Reserve interest rate rises to combat high inflation may have contributed to decline in manufacturing activity, decreasing new orders and back orders for U.S. manufacturers, all of which had a direct impact on the volume of cargo handled by the San Pedro Bay ports. The ports of LA and LB, Long Beach, have lost 5.9% of U.S. market share to the ports of New York and Newark, Savannah, Houston, and Norfolk in the past decade. Supply chains. Over the past 2 decades, East and Gulf Coast ports have made substantial infrastructure investments in anticipation of the 2016 Panama Canal expansion. Another factor is that in 2019, businesses began diversifying commodity resources, redirecting some production away from China towards southeastern and southwestern Asian countries due to U.S.-China trade tensions and China's zero-COVID policy. Some of these countries are better suited to Panama Canal or even Suez Canal routes to the East Coast. Labor negotiations at West Coast ports, a shift in U.S. population growth towards the Sun Belt states and disruptions at the San Pedro ports during the pandemic have also contributed to this market share loss. The Retail Industry Leaders Association, or RILA, reported its members, including Home Depot, Target, and Best Buy, have redirected some of their cargo away from the West Coast in favor of Gulf Coast ports. Figure 7. Yeah, I just moved the microphone so it's going to be a bit louder. Figure 7, market share of containerized vessel import and export weight. U.S. major ports 2014 to 2023, June year to date. Los Angeles and Long Beach from 27.9% in 2014 down to 22% in 2023. New York and Newark and New Jersey 13.3% in 2014 to 14.5% in 2023. Savannah 8.3% in 2014 to 10.3% in 2023. Houston, Texas 7.4% to 10.3%. And lastly, Norfolk Newport News 7.4% to 6.9%. Concerns over China. The San Pedro port's declining import market share highlights the importance of China to the South Bay and ally economies. China's economic growth had been remarkable between 2000 and 2019. It consistently achieved annual growth rates around 9%. However, this period ended when China's rigorous 3-year zero-COVID policy dampened economic expansion and foreign investments. The post-COVID reopening in late 2022 failed to reignite economic confidence, resulting in GDP growth of only 3.2% in Q2 2023. China's exports declined 8.8%, declined year-on-year in August, marking an 8-month consecutive downturn in 2023. Foreign direct investment also declined 87% year-on-year to $4.9 billion in Q2 2023. China experienced deflation in consumer prices during July. The most pressing challenge for China's economy is the downturn in the real estate market. Home prices are falling and major developers such as Evergrande and Country Garden have defaulted. The government has been attempting to stabilize the real estate sector by reducing interest rates and ensuring builders access to financing. The significant slowdown in China raises profound questions for the global economy too, as the country's supply chains are interconnected with all regions of the world. Warehousing in Southern California. COVID-19 also significantly impacted warehousing in the region. The demand surge discussed above in the third quarter of 2021 caused warehouse vacancies in Southern California to fall to only 1%. This severe shortage in warehouse capacity acted as a bottleneck, impeding the smooth flow of containers through the congested supply chain. Between 2022 and 2023, our research team investigated the dynamics of warehouse space demand and supply in Southern California. Our findings, shown in Figure 8, indicate that aggregate demand for warehouse space likely surpasses aggregate supply in Q1 2031. LA County and Orange County are expected to grapple with a shortage of warehouse space from 2023 through 2040. The gap in available inventory space will predominantly be filled by the surplus in the Inland Empire. However, when considering the potential impact of warehouse moratoriums, inventory shortages are anticipated to materialize 3 years earlier in the first quarter of 2028. Housing market. Prices in California metro areas. Unlike international trade, housing markets were relatively unaffected by COVID-19, shown in Figure 9. The impact was smaller and did not have the far-reaching effects of the Great Recession of 2008 to 2009. Housing prices decreased during March to May of 2020, recovering strongly during 2021 to 2022. There was a deceleration in all major markets, especially San Francisco, at the beginning of 2023. But since then, we can see strong price increases across these markets. In contrast, sales activity fell drastically during COVID-19 in April to May 2020, and then during most of 2021 to 23. These abnormally high prices are likely due to supply scarcity. Figure 10 shows that the median time on market has been drastically lower during 2021 and 2022 than during 2018 to 2020. The slow rotation of real estate, Figure 11, and low inventories, Figure 12, in the state and the region affecting supply. In other words, homeowners in the region are not selling, either waiting for better prices, wary of the very high buying prices everywhere else, or simply not needing to move out. LA real estate markets also have long-standing problems. First, localized and restrictive planning structures enacted during the period of metropolitan consolidation during the 1960s and 1970s mean that housing development is more challenging and costly than it needs to be. Second, Proposition 13, enacted in 1978 after the tax strikes, decelerates real estate rotation. A comprehensive rehaul of planning frameworks, property taxation, and urban design, low-density car-oriented, are required if the metropolitan region is to accommodate its present and future economic and population growth. These changes are challenging politically. For example, state attempts to increase flexibility and incentivize development of affordable housing have been met with a mixed reception by cities. South Bay housing. Coastal South Bay cities such as Hermosa Beach, Manhattan Beach, and Palos Verdes estates have higher house prices, yet the growth rate is diverse. Figure 13 shows negative price growth in most cities of the South Bay during 2022 to 2023, which contrasts with strong price increases during 2021 to 2022 and 2020 to 2021. Only Wilmington and Hermosa Beach have positive price growth, while most highly priced coastal cities tend to show strongly negative growth rates. The patterns observed in Figure 14 clearly contrast with the price growth of Figure 15. Most cities in the South Bay have negative growth in transactions during 2022 to 2023, with the most negative growth in Wilmington clearly associated to its higher price growth in Figure 13. The cities with growth in the number of transactions were Inglewood, El Segundo, Carson, and Lomita. All of them experienced negative price growth during the period. Hermosa Beach was the only city with growth in both transactions and prices, although that relates to just 159 transactions total. House prices across our region follow Federal Reserve interest rate changes. Currently, home mortgages rates for 30-year fixed loans are around 7.5%. The Federal Reserve has increased the federal funds rate 11 times since March 2022, from 0.25% to 5.5%. This has led to a large decline in sales in South Bay cities, especially for coastal communities. Some homeowners have likely paused relocation or upgrade plans to avoid a large mortgage rate penalty. For home buyers, rate increases restrict choices due to significantly larger mortgage payments. For the median home price in LA County, a mortgage payment with 20% down would be more than $2,100, higher today than in February of 2022. Based on our data analysis, Table 3 presents some forecasts for the next 12 months. August 2023 to July 2024. These forecasts are based on the assumption of no reduction in the federal funds rate this year and a continuing climate of global economic uncertainty. Table 3, South Bay housing forecast 2023 to 2024. Coastal, sales minus 11.3% and prices minus 4.3%. Inland, an increase of 1.3% and prices 1.9%. Cannabis. The 2016 legalization of recreational cannabis in California through Proposition 64 has created the largest licensed cannabis market in the U.S. However, since implementation began in 2018, cannabis industry stakeholders have experienced challenges with the spotty rollout of municipal policy and uneven outcomes across industry sectors and with respect to income and racial groups. There are clear disparities between LA County demographics and cannabis company ownership. In particular, whites are overrepresented as owners while Latinx are underrepresented as owners. When considering the disproportionate criminalization of Black Californians for cannabis-related offenses, Hartzog and Natical 2019, social equity programs might pay most attention to these groups. Retail cannabis in LA County appeared to generate approximately 16,000 jobs across California in 2021. Of these jobs, we estimate that around 11,300 to 11,600 are within LA County, and 4,400 to 4,700 are in other California counties. This highlights the benefits that LA County cannabis retail brings to the rest of the California economy. Retail outlets account for the largest portion of employment among cannabis sectors within LA County, around 6,700 jobs, followed by manufacturing, 2,400 jobs, cultivation, 800 to 1,100 jobs, and distribution and labs, 1,500 jobs. Industry data from our from 4 cannabis sectors: cultivation, manufacturing, distribution, and retail, tells an interesting story about the early years of cannabis legalization in California. Prior to legalization implementation, the best estimates suggested that Northern California was a hotbed of cannabis cultivation, providing to relatively unregulated and unmonitored medical marijuana dispensaries in the major urban areas. Since legalization, data on licensed activity suggests that Southern California and the Central Coast and Central Valley regions are the dominant cultivation locations in the state. From there on, the cannabis supply chain in California is dominated by LA. More transfers are made originating and finishing in LA. Cannabis manufacturing has increased across all measures, with LA County becoming a dominant player with respect to units, weights, and volume depending on the product. Our statistical analysis suggests that adding more licenses within currently licensing cities and in new markets could increase cannabis sales and hence tax revenues. Reducing taxes benefits cannabis businesses directly and may attract more customers. It would also reduce the differential between licensed and illegal retailers. However, studies suggest that demand for licensed cannabis is somewhat inelastic, and therefore reducing taxes may not sustainably or substantially stimulate demand. As a result, city governments may lose tax revenue in a time of tight budgets. Entrepreneurship. Figure 16, capital invested in firms with South Bay headquarters by industry. You can go over that yourself if you'd like. Emerging spaces. The top 10 emerging industries in the South Bay have a total capital invested of over $85 billion and include transportation, electric vehicle EV platforms, EV charging infrastructure, autonomous trucking, and aerospace and aviation, commercial space launch. Table 8. Top emerging industries in the South Bay. Rank is number 1 with electric vehicle platforms, companies 3, deals 38, and capital invested $31.16 billion. Rank 2 is auto commerce with 6 companies, 30 deals, and $22.91 billion of capital invested. Rank 3 is commercial space launch, 6 companies, 86 deals, $13.68 billion of capital invested. Rank number 4 is electric vehicle charging infrastructure, 62 companies, 116 deals, $9.01 billion capital invested. Doesn't seem like we're going to have that infrastructure completed anytime soon. Number 5, ghost kitchens. Companies 9, 20 deals made, and $2.51 billion of capital invested. Number 6 is autonomous trucking. 3 companies, 15 deals, and $2.13 billion of capital invested. 7 is air taxis, with 5 companies, 11 deals, and $1.27 billion of capital invested. 8 is long duration energy storage, 3 companies, 13 deals, $1.04 billion of capital invested. 9 is silicon photonics, with 8 companies, 40 deals, and $987.32 million of capital invested. 10 is small satellites, companies 14, deals 61, and $898.98 million of capital invested. Aerospace feature. The launch of the aviation industry. The 1910 LA Air Meet was the first aviation meet held in the United States and the second aviation meet in the world. This historic event brought in approximately 226,000 spectators to Dominguez Field, the present-day CSUDH campus, which is believed to have launched the West Coast aviation industry. The story about this event is being documented by the Dominguez Documentary Project, led by CSUDH faculty Rod Hay and Mario Congrevi. Aerospace and defense industry in South Bay, LA now. The South Bay continues to be a hub for aviation with an active aerospace and defense industry. There are over 75 companies with over 270 deals, over 500 investors, and over 50 exits, with the largest deal being $4.7 billion. There is $29.65 billion of capital invested with a median post valuation of $94 million. Major players, see Table 9, by total capital raised are rocket and spacecraft product developer SpaceX with $9.7 billion, and electronic systems and components designer and manufacturer OSI Systems based in Hawthorne, $293.59 million, aerospace and defense products and systems manufacturer Aerojet Rocketdyne Holdings, launch vehicle developer ABL Space Systems, and flight hardware and software operating systems developer Skyrise from El Segundo raised totals of $2.78 billion, $419.35 million, and $253.97 million, respectively. High-power microwave technology developer Epirus from Redondo Beach raised $293.59 million. Aerospace industry overview: 78 companies, 272 deals, 502 investors, 51 exits, largest deal of $4.7 billion, capital invested $29.65 billion, and median post-valuation $94 million. Table 9, companies to watch in South Bay Aerospace by total capital raised: SpaceX with a total raise of $9.7 billion, last deal type, later stage VC and HQ location in Hawthorne. Aerojet Rocketdyne, total raise $2.78 billion, last deal type M&A, HQ location El Segundo. ABL Space Systems, total raise $419.35 million, last deal type secondary private, HQ location El Segundo. Epirus, total raise $293.59 million, last deal type grant, HQ location Redondo Beach. OSI Systems, total raised $273.26 million, last deal type pipe, HQ location Hawthorne. Skyrise, total raised $253.97 million, last deal type Series B, HQ location El Segundo. Aerospace feature: capital investment slowdowns from interest rate increase have not affected the aerospace and defense industry as much as other industries. Median deal size has increased. Figure 17. Median deal size of aerospace companies is more than twice what it was last year, increasing from $12.4 million in 2022 to $30 million in 2023 thus far. Deals have been much larger in size, with 30 deals in 2022 and 11 in 2023. Capital raised has increased from 2020 to 2021, and 2023 is looking strong as well. New entrants include electric wire manufacturer Senra Systems in Torrance, space technology firm Anisignal in El Segundo, microgravity manufacturer Reorbital in Hermosa Beach, aviation and aerospace component manufacturer Impulse Space in Redondo Beach, and semiconductor and pharmaceuticals manufacturer Varda Space Industries in El Segundo. Starburst Accelerator. Previous South Bay Economic Forecast panelist Starburst Aerospace was founded in 2012 and based in El Segundo, California, with a focus on 3 activities: accelerators, consulting, and ventures in the aerospace and defense industry. The organization has developed a large community with over 60 corporate and government contracts and holds a portfolio of over 140 startups focusing on early-stage investment. In just 4 years since the launch of the Starburst Accelerator program, the program has grown to over 20 programs with an international team operating 2 venture funds, Starburst Ventures in the US and expansion in the EU. Within the aerospace and defense industry, the majority of the investments in terms of deal count have been in information technology and in business products and services B2B in terms of capital invested. Starburst Accelerator has invested in 8 companies based in the South Bay, which include Morph 3D, Novo Space, and Raven in El Segundo, Ampere and Launcher in Hawthorne, Exosonic in Torrance, and Morpheus Space in LA, and operate in emerging space such as electric flight, commercial space launch, small satellites, and supersonic travel. Implications of AI Implications of AI advancements. Artificial intelligence, or AI, describes machines performing human-like cognitive processes such as learning, reasoning, and interaction. While AI technology has been conceptualized for decades, early computer scientists such as Alan Turing were equally focused on artificial intelligence. Recent models such as ChatGPT have brought AI back into public debate. While many industries, including education, have begun to experiment with how AI can improve productivity, there are also concerns about the potential for AI to replace workers. It is worth highlighting that economic progress is driven by technological innovation and automation, and both have tended to create more new jobs than are lost. There are also substantial opportunities for South Bay companies to benefit from future growth in demand for AI, which is anticipated to be particularly impactful for high-tech, banking, education, pharmaceuticals, and telecoms. There are 24 companies based in South Bay that are developing artificial intelligence. The capital invested has increased dramatically from $10.02 million to $237.66 million. Deal count has increased slightly, which indicates there are larger deals deals being made to invest in AI in the South Bay. The top private companies are Grey Matter Robotics in Gardena, Carbonated in El Segundo, Preveta and the Human Baton in Redondo Beach, Dataplore in Manhattan Beach, and Brandwood Global in Torrance. Leading investors are mostly based outside of California, with the National Science Foundation, FF Venture Capital, Adara Ventures, OCA Ventures, Quest Venture Partners, and Techstars. Only Quest Venture Partners is based in California, in Palo Alto. The majority of investment is through venture capital. ESG investment. Previous research has reflected that investors are embracing environmental, social, and governance ESG investing. Forbes contributor Joan Michelson states investors and the public are demanding more transparency, disclosures, and socially responsible leadership from companies. With the rise in interest, we explore ESG investment in the South Bay. Currently, there are 5 investors in the South Bay that focus on ESG investments, which include K1 Investment Management in Manhattan Beach, Financial Finesse Ventures, and Scope 4 Capital in El Segundo, Platinum Eco Capital in Rancho Palos Verdes, and TriLink Global in Manhattan Beach. The majority of the investors focus on impact investing, followed by private equity/buyout and corporate venture capital. The largest investor is K1 Investment Management, with a team of 70 investment professionals, 210 investments, 17 exits, and an active portfolio of 51 investments. Company investment and deal count in Table 10 show a rise in interest in ESG investment from South Bay investors, with the number of companies invested in increasing by over 6 times from 4 in 2013 to 29 in 2022. Median capital invested has also increased over the past decade from $37 million in 2013 to $65.06 million in 2022. Mean and median revenue has increased post-pandemic from $11.59 million to from $11.59 million to $44.2 million and $4.77 million to $33.40 million respectively. Last table to read, and this wraps up this session. Table 10. Investment by South Bay LA ESG investors. Most important, so 2009, we see a gradual increase from 2009 in all areas. So company count, deal count, capital invested, and revenue. I'm going to read the year from 2009. Company count 2, deal count 2, capital invested median 7.5, revenue mean nothing, median nothing. So I'm going to go over the next year that actually has all of the boxes. 2011, company count 1, deal count 1, capital invested median 17, revenue mean 24.02, median 24.02. And we saw gradual dips and fluctuations. There was a dip in 2012, 2013 there was a spike, dip in 2014, 2015 spike, 2016 up, 17 up, 2018 a dip again, 2019 up slightly, 2020 up slightly, 2021 spike, and 2022 down a little bit more than 2021, when this is all referring to company count and deal count. But again, 2011, company count 1, deal count 1, capital invested median 17, revenue mean 24.02, revenue median 24.02. That's 2011. 2022, company count 29, deal count 29, capital invested median 75.06, revenue mean 44.20, revenue median 33.40. And that concludes my reading of the South Bay Economic Forecast and Industry Outlook from 2023 to 2024. Thank you so much.